out for about 2 days. It's been raining heavily. Whenever it rains, we don't really get too busy. So that's kind of doing other stuff. I was supposed to go on a field trip too with my child, but they canceled that, so now we're back. I kind of slowed things down too, so that I could go on that field trip, and because it was canceled, everything was just slow, so I didn't really see the point in going live. I'm not really doing too much. Right now I have an Xbox Series X, HDMI port, repair. The tab is broken in the middle of it, which is common break on these ones, so hopefully it stays focused. I'm not likes to unfocus here. Quite a bit. I'll pretend new port over here. Actually, let me back this up for a second. Turn this port. Get it nice and prepped and ready. Hope everyone's staying busy today. I hope you have better weather than we have. It's been cold, and I do not like the cold at all. It's been cold and rainy. Not exactly the most ideal weather to have. But can't complain too much. Just trying to stay busy here. Alright, hopefully that stays focused there. Looks pretty good from this angle. Well, it's like a weird color haze. Oh, you know what? I went live straight from YouTube again. I meant to use my streaming app. Oops. Quality's probably not gonna be as good as the streaming app. That was a mistake. Yeah, it's like a weird color glitch thing. It's pretty loud. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe if I move this. Trying to focus on multiple things at once. It really wants to focus on my cardboard box. Alright. Right now I'm just heating up the port. I have to come around on this actually. Sometimes I'm using so much heat it gets too hot. Get too close to this. There we go. Alright, looks like that solder stuck straight to the foothold there, which is exactly what I wanted. Getting a little loose. It's that epoxy that's under there always makes it kind of hard. Yep. Looks like we got some of it off too, which is good. Now we scrape this off. This stuff is such a pain. If you go to put a new port on, it'll be all crooked too, so you definitely have to get that off. Let's see if it'll focus on that area a little bit. There we go. So you can see the balled up solder on the pads there. That's what I do to make it to where the port comes off easier. I'll have to spread that out though, of course. I'm gonna go to put the new port on, which I'm gonna put on very soon. Hopefully this solder mixes perfectly. If it does, we can go ahead and just throw the other port on while the board is still warm. Perfect. Couldn't have gone any better. Alright, just gonna heat it back up now. As I'm heating it up this time, I'm going to put some of my solder through the footholes. That way that it's a little bit easier for me to get the port on. So we just hold this here until it melts like that. And like that, just to show you the difference. See how it's not melting? See how long it takes to melt? Crazy because this board is so thick that depending on which side you're on, it'll take forever to melt. So now that that is, now that we got our solder on there, just gonna hold the heat there. See how it's like bubbled up on top in some of these footholes. As I'm holding the heat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke through and just kind of mix it around. That way it mixes our solder with the solder that was in there. It just makes it easier for us to put the port on. Just grab the other port. And it just dropped right in. That's exactly what we're looking for. Just gonna move it around a little bit. Check the footholes, make sure that there's solder in them. Looks like there is solder in each one of the footholes, and all the pins in the back look to be connected, or appear to be. So I'm just gonna remove the heat and hold this down. And it should cool down fairly quick. Or I should say the solder should solidify pretty quickly. now that we have that on there, I'm just going to go ahead and check the pins on the back. Make sure that those are secured. Alright. Those are good. I'm just waiting for the board to cool down so that we can reassemble it. And I'm just going to suck up some of the solder here. Alright. I'm just going to wait for that to cool down. I'll just flip it over, just because I noticed that it cools down a little bit better if I flip it over, so just flip it over like that, just let it sit there, cool down. Alright, well, while the board is cooling down, I'm going to go ahead and start working on a controller over here. So these boards usually take a while to cool down. We'll get set up so we can see this here. Alright, this controller came in, has stick drift, of course. That's what they always have, so. That's just ribbon's hard to get out sometimes. There we go. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and move our controller over to the soldering station now. So we're still letting that Xbox motherboard, the Series X motherboard, we're letting that cool down still. Those ones usually take a minute. We're just gonna go ahead and desolder these points on this controller here while we wait. I guess this one already came off when I hit it the first time. Surprised, usually things don't work out that well. I got the border moved. Move that over. We'll get it set up here on our holder. So the holder is more narrow because somebody brought in an aircraft light that I worked on, I think yesterday. It's either yesterday or the day before. Sometimes I work on some weird stuff like that. It was pretty simple though. Just a quick solder job. Right. Go ahead and get these points soldered here. Or should I say just replace our solder? Or replace their solder with our solder. Mix them in here. That way it can remove the analog very easily. Alright. So now we have solder on that side. We're gonna go ahead and put solder on this side too. That way we can do this fairly efficiently. So each one of those solder points are good too. Now we can go ahead. Actually, let me check the Xbox motherboard real quick, see if that's still hot, if it is ready to be put back together. Alright. The Xbox is ready to be put back together, so we're actually going to come back over here and get this reassembled. Just double check it. Yeah. Is that in the frame? Okay. Yeah, you can see that. We gotta get this thing at a higher angle, I think. There you go. 'Cause I think it's focusing on my arm too much. There you go. Okay, that's a little better. So this Xbox has obviously been taken care of for the most part. It's actually really clean inside of it. But even though you take good care of them, the HDMI ports are still prone to fail. And I actually am charging my tool this time, my long tool that I used to get these screws in. So last time it died, and I haven't charged it since I bought it like half a year ago, if not longer. So hopefully it's got some charge to it. That way we can just put this thing back together real quick. So the screw here came from the factory, sitting up a little bit, so I'm guessing that the actual threads inside of the socket there are probably not deep enough, or a little bit stripped or something like that inside of there. sometimes these screw holes here can be a little bit sideways. So like this one, when I was putting it in, it kind of like pulled the board down because that screw hole is kind of angled like this. It's angled this way. So I just back them out just a hair and then try to put the ones that are straight in first. And it should just hold it there, so hold it in place. Yeah, from the factory, these things aren't perfect. Some of them are, but then we see a lot of defects in pretty much every one of these consoles, whether it's Xbox or PlayStation. Unlike in the past where they all looked fairly good. Alright, so that's what it looks like with the new port on there. How's it going, Marcel? So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this up. Make sure everything works. Alright, so if you've been watching from the beginning, I'll go ahead and give you the reveal here of this Xbox. Just like that. So, obviously, the HDMI port replacement worked as it usually does, because that's what I specialize in here at Reapers, so that's good to go. But now we need to get back to the controller over here, which I'll just give this customer a call real quick to let him know that his Xbox is ready. I think he's getting it fixed for his son, so Xbox down. Now we just have the controller here, which is our next to do. So thankfully I had that guy's phone number from this morning, because when he wrote it down, I could not read that phone number. So alright, so instead of trying to deal with the hassle of, I still have not cleaned this plunge tool, I still haven't cleaned that one out, so instead of having to deal with that right now, I got a new one right here that I haven't used yet. Gold too. It's kind of fancy, huh? Sounds good. Sounds fresh. So that should make our job a little bit easier here with getting the solder out of these holes. Oh, what's this little piece of solder doing here? Huh. Foreign solder. We don't want that. It is a little bit colder in here today, so it might take a few more seconds to get this analog off, which means it could melt a little bit more, but we'll see. Alright, that wasn't bad actually. That came off fairly easy. This punch tool is a little different from my previous one. Move this back up here. Ugh. Ugh. Missed. All right. Just got that customer checked out with the Xbox, so that's good to go. Now we just need to get off the remainder plastic right here. We don't actually need to get this off, but I like to get it off just because I like to have a very clean work area. I say that, but my desk is messy. I mean, very clean work area on the board. Alright, on the motherboard. Let's not get carried away here. With the desk handle. Hopefully this didn't cool down too much. If it did, it's gonna be a little bit more painful to... Yeah, it looks like it did. Alright, so that's pretty smooth there. Of course, these ones will come off fairly simple too. Alright, so now that we have that plastic off there, we can take off the other side, but we need to wait just a second because if I flip this around and try to take this one off too quick, it'll warp the board, so the board will be like pulled in or pushed out. And then whenever you put like the board back in the controller, anytime you like press down on the controller or squeeze down like on these or anything, it can actually cause the sticks to register in a direction. So just gotta wait a couple seconds or maybe like half a minute or so for that to cool down a little bit. Once you can like touch it and keep your finger on there, then it's cool enough. Obviously it's still too hot right now. So the temperatures that I'm using, it's 450 degrees Celsius, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I know it's really hot. I'll actually look it up for you guys right now. I'll tell you the English version of how hot it is. 450 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. Yeah, so it's 842 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the temperatures that I'm using, so very, very hot. Very hot. So yeah, that's why it takes a little bit for these boards to cool down. But isn't it also amazing that like it's 842 degrees Fahrenheit on this board, and this board doesn't hurt the board at all. It's pretty crazy to me. Some boards do though. Not all boards are the same. But game console boards and stuff like that, you have to use like high heat for them. But like MIDI keyboards and stuff like that, you can't use high heat on them. You typically just have to use a soldering iron, or you have to be very, very quick when you're using a heat gun, because those boards will actually melt. Same thing with like a lot of camera motherboards or camcorders, like the big ones and stuff like that. Alright, so it feels like it's, yeah, so now I can keep my fingers on it, which means it's good to swap over. So I'm going to switch to this side here. Yeah, I'm just going to brush some of the solder off if I can, just because I don't want that floating around on the board. Alright, we're going to do the same thing with this side we just did with the other side. I thought it was going to be messier, honestly, when I took off the other one. But it came off pretty easy, so hopefully this one comes off easy as well. Usually the hotter I get it, the faster I get it hot, I should say, the less cleanup I have to do. Less cleanup is faster work, so always looking to move quick. Yeah, this new plunger tool kind of sucks, honestly. I gotta clean my other one so I can get back to using that one. This one I have to get right on the holes to get it off. Yeah, look at that. It was right above it. Still didn't get it. Looks like we have some in this hole still. Alright. Alright, each one of those looks like they're cleaned out now. Let's see what mess it made on here. Oh, that's not bad at all. This is actually less than the other side, which means that I'm working fairly quick, which is good. There's a piece of solder right here though. Let's get that off. Don't know what this is. Oh, Alright, and the same thing for this one, so I'll just heat this up again. Now it should be a lot quicker though, because I just worked on it, so. You want to get it to where you can like wipe it off pretty quick. So if it like smears too much, you just like wait a second and let the heat sit on it a little bit more. So if it smears too much, it could get in those holes and it makes a mess if it does that. So yeah, that's all cleaned up now too. So it looks like we kept all the capacitors on there, none were knocked off on this side or this side down here, which is good. Never want to knock those off. Now, this board is prepped and ready to go to have Hall effects put on, which is, it's kind of funny because every time that I order Hall effects, I get like an influx of people calling about getting them installed. Strange how that works. These are the ones that I use here. Usually get these ones in bulk. Occasionally I get different ones, like from Amazon. But these ones are really good. I haven't had any problems with these ones at all. The ones from Amazon I haven't had any problems either, but these ones are a little bit better whenever they're installed. For some reason, these ones tend to be closer to 0, so it tends to be like closer to registering with no stick drift. Just after the first install versus the other ones I've used from like Amazon. Sometimes those ones will be like way off. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get these installed. So again, I'll just feel the board once I can keep my fingers on it. Then we can put the new analogs on. Yeah, it's still pretty hot. Alright, well while it's a little warm, what I'll do is I'll come to the back side here and I'll just grab my flux and just kinda move it around on here, that way that the flux gets nice and spread out instead of like clumping up whenever it's too cold. That way we have a little bit easier to clean up after we've installed the new analogs. Alright, let's see what it's like. Okay, yeah, now it's cool to the touch. Very, very cool to the touch. So, what I'll do, because that's the side that I worked last, I'm going to move to this side first. Because again, the idea here is to have minimal to no warping at all. It's not like warping's a huge deal. If you're like putting regular analogs back on, then warping is actually a huge deal. But if you're like putting Hall effects on, you just want to keep the board as straight as you can. Same thing with TMR, as you put any of those on, you just want to keep the board as straight as you can. Just going to hold pressure on that. That way it stays nice and level. Same thing with the other side. Hold pressure on that so it stays nice and level. And it should be perfectly seated on there. Yep, look at that. Perfectly level. That's what we want. That's what we want to see. Alright, now we're going to put solder on each one of those pins. So the 2 pins that I already put solder on just hold the analog in, so it's part of the analog frame, as well as this one here and this one here. And then these are where the potentiometers are. Which is like what registers on the Y and X axis. And then these 4 feet here are actually for the little clicky button in there, the L3 and R3. Just go over each one of these, make sure the solder's through. Yep. Nice. Then we'll switch over to the other side and do the same thing. Oh, what'd I do with the other analog? What the heck? It's in space. Oh. I'm gonna move it over here. And yeah, sometimes these analogs come with like all the pins bent though. So I have to straighten them out, or else it's impossible to get them on. Alright. Same thing here. Gonna put the frame, I'm gonna solder the frame pins first. So it's this one. I'm just gonna hold down on it. And then that's this side as well. And just gonna hold down on that one as well. And just gonna make sure they're straight before I solder any more points, because then if you don't, it's almost impossible. Alright, so it is a little crooked, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna heat up this point on the top and push. Yep, it slid right into place, I felt it. So now it should be straight on there. Let's check. Yeah, see, now it's straight. A minute ago it was bent, so. And then of course we're gonna hit each one of these points up now. Got those points. I'm gonna hit these ones up first. And look at this. These potentiometer pins here. And we're just gonna tap everything, make sure everything's nice and soldered. Alright. So that looks good. Nice. So we took off the old crappy analogs. Put on the new Holophix here. Which means now, instead of having continuous stick drift, even after trying to use the free online tool to recalibrate the controller, now it's not going to have that problem. Which is why I only install these Holophix or TMRs. I don't put the regular ones in anymore, because they're just going to drift again. Because humans are creatures of habit. So if the left one drifted before, it's going to drift again. Unless if you put in aftermarket pieces, of course. Come on. Come on. There we go. Alright. Alright. Now we can get the wires soldered back on here. So the order that they go is YGBR. Yellow. Oh, let me move this over. Just there. Yellow. Green. Red goes on the bottom, YGBR. So that means the black one here is going to be right there. Alright, same thing with this side. Sometimes these wires get like all messed up. I don't know how they didn't get tangled up this time. Maybe it's just because I'm live again. Seems like everything works out really well for me when I'm on live, so things just tend to play out a little better. I say that, and then this red wire is trying not to work with me here. Yeah, I need to bend that wire actually. Bend that like this. There we go. Now we should be able to solder that on pretty easily. There we go. Alright. Nice. Now we can go reassemble the controller here. Just plugging all the ribbons back in, doing cables. This one's easier to put in than it is to take out, so slides in so easily, right? If you were here when I took that out, it definitely did not come out that easy. All right. Make sure everything spins freely. Everything's, all the buttons are pressable and everything still. Those are good, so. I'm gonna go plug this up to the computer, and we're gonna go ahead and get it calibrated. Alright, hopefully it's not off by too much. Let's see here. So I got the little calibration tool pulled up here. Oop. And we're gonna plug the controller up. Alright, so it's registering up and to the right. At least they're free spinning, right? So if they weren't, that'd be an issue. So calibrate stick center. And it looks perfect, honestly. It is glitching a little bit, so let's go ahead and calibrate the stick range as well too. We're gonna go different directions here. Let's see how it pans out. Yeah, look at that. See, I was doing like that weird glitchy thing over here. It's not doing that anymore, so that's good. So now we're gonna come over here to this gamepad tester. This one's just a little bit more, shows more error and stuff like that. And these are perfect. Wow, these are actually really good. Yeah, this is about, what? This is probably like the best one I've done recently. Because it's, I mean, it's under, what is that, 4,000s? It's under 4,000s. So that's crazy. But yeah, controller's good to go. The Xbox Series X HDMI port that we worked on was good to go too. So got controller and console done, but I'm gonna hop off here today. I don't feel like being on live for too long, so I've already been on for an hour. So thanks for watching though.